Fear is the path to the dark side.
Sending this Congress a plan that you should pass right away. It's called the American Jobs Act.
President Obama finally sent over to Congress his plans for getting the country back to work, 30 days after he says he conceived it in his own mind.
Is in Washington leading off tonight. Make the Republicans say no to jobs in their hometowns. I say President Obama needs to come up with a jobs program. He needs to highlight the bridges and roads that need fixing in this country and then make the Republicans say no. I don't want jobs in my district. The question isn't whether President Obama should do it or how. I'm telling him how. Show the bridges, show the rotten roads, show the broken down sewer and water systems. Put it in their faces. Howard, you and I know politics. Doesn't the president know politics?
Well, I don't think he knows it the way you know it in this context, Chris. Politically, you can do it the way you're proposing. As a matter of fact, I summarized your proposal and reminded the people at the White House of it and asked them to take a look. And I got the word back from a senior White House official who said, well, it would depend on how it's done. And to me, that means that you need to get your action plan over there right now, because they weren't dismissing it out of hand.
Okay, Mike, here's the plan, so I do everything above board. I don't go meet at the White House. Never been invited, never been there. But here's the thing. What you do is you go into a district, take the nastiest Republican, a red dog. They all know that these jobs, like fixing bridges, fixing roads, fixing water systems, fixing sewer systems, create jobs. So just put it in their face and list all the challenges in their district, all the particular public works projects that need to be done. Not jobs that need to be filled, work that needs to be done, safety that needs to be protected, with bridges that are in safety problems right now. John Heilman, that's how you do it. That's the way we did it in the old days. You put it in their face and say, go ahead, vote against it. You know what they do? They vote for it. That's what usually happens, or pay for it. Your thoughts, John Heilman. That's how you get a public works program through. Not by saying, gee whiz, let's have a stimulus program, or let's have infrastructure, and all those god-awful terms that mean absolutely nothing. You show them the bridge that the school bus is going over this September. How about we make it safe? Just a thought. What's your thought?
The White House and the President's Re-Election Committee clearly understand that they need to do something politically on the jobs front, and they are, in fact, at the moment, as Howard indicated, they're trying to figure out what that should be. They are going to have some kind of a jobs package that they're going to roll out at some point in the next couple weeks, maybe early in September. The other biggest problem for the President is that to take the path that you're suggesting would be tantamount to them saying, look, we got it wrong. As recently as 6 months ago, when we put deficit reduction in the middle of things, when we didn't make this argument 6 months ago, we didn't make it 18 months ago, we were just wrong. The policy we pursued for 18 months was the wrong policy, for more than 8 months or 2.5 years, was the wrong policy. And you know how hard it is for any politician, but particularly for a president, to say, guys, I was wrong. I need to start from scratch and do something that is in total contradiction to the way I've governed so far. I just think it's going to be very hard to get Barack Obama to admit that.
Well, I think it might be hard to get him to admit it, but if he realizes that his presidency is at stake, he might change his mind. And I think he could argue, or at least attempt to argue, that they learned from the first stimulus, that it did some good things, but now they're going to take it to a stage 2 and have it more focused. Remember when he said 2 years ago that, you know, the biggest lie in government is shovel ready, because the projects weren't ready.
Of the American Jobs Act is simple. To put more people back to work and more money in the pockets of those who are working. It will create more jobs for construction workers, more jobs for teachers, more jobs for veterans, and more jobs for long-term unemployed. You should pass this jobs plan right away. Everyone here knows we have badly decaying roads and bridges all over the country. Our highways are clogged with traffic. Our skies are the most congested in the world. There's a bridge that needs repair between Ohio and Kentucky. It's on one of the busiest trucking routes in North America. A public transit project in Houston that will help clear up one of the worst areas of traffic in the country. And there are schools throughout this country that desperately need renovating. And to make sure the money is properly spent, we're building on reforms we've already put in place. No more earmarks. No more boondoggles. No more bridges to nowhere. We're cutting the red tape that prevents some of these projects from getting started as quickly as possible. What's guided us from the start of this crisis hasn't been the search for a silver bullet. It's been a commitment to stay at it, to be persistent, to keep trying every new idea that works, and listen to every good proposal, no matter which party comes up with it. Regardless of the arguments we've had in the past, regardless of the arguments we will have in the future, this plan is the right thing to do right now. You should pass it. And I intend to take that message to every corner of this country.
What you do is you go into a district, take the nastiest Republican, a red dog.
Well, in that fiery speech last night, the president admonished Congress not to play politics with the jobs issue. Today, he went in politics for the jobs bill he unveiled last night.
Hello, Richmond!
President Obama took his message to the swing state of Virginia.
And I know you folks are as frustrated as I am about the economy. Pass this bill!
Sounding like candidate Obama, he urged the Richmond audience to pressure members of Congress. While the White House tried to play down any political significance to today's venue in House Republican leader Eric Cantor's district, his speech last night was peppered with more geographic coincidences.
There's a bridge that needs repair between Ohio and Kentucky. It's on one of the busiest trucking routes in North America. A public transit project in Houston that will help clear up one of the worst areas of traffic in the country.
Ohio is the home of Speaker John Boehner, Kentucky the home of Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, and Texas the home of Republican presidential frontrunner Rick Perry. The White House's PR blitz included flooding reporter inboxes with more than 40 statements of support, as well as dispatching Vice President Biden to both national TV and local radio in Ohio and Pennsylvania to sell the plan.
You show them the bridge that the school bus is going over this September. How about we make it safe? Just a thought.
Let's point out, for those who didn't catch it, that he is on a bridge that connects Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader's home state of Kentucky, to John Boehner, the House Republican Speaker's home state of Ohio.
You know, he was using it as a symbol. And in fact, you know, Katie, this idea of spending more on infrastructure, rehabbing schools, polls very well. Gallup had very positive numbers on it today. We do a congressional connection poll at National Journal last week. 63%, including 46% of Republicans, said they supported spending more on infrastructure. But the results are often disappointing. And infrastructure is an important way of increasing jobs for construction workers, way down since the recession began. But it takes a while. Even the president said a few months ago, as you're called, shovel-ready wasn't quite as shovel-ready as I thought.
My next-door neighbor's two dogs have created more shovel-ready jobs than this current administration.
Yeah, it reminds me, to be honest, of the old Popeye cartoon of the character who would say, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger I can have today.
You know, John, to make your point, you know, when the Titanic was sinking, that horrible night when that ship went down, a lot of people in that boat stayed on that ship because they thought it was safer on the Titanic than it was in the lifeboats. They made a mistake. Thank you, Howard Feynman. Thank you, John Heilman. A hell of a comparison, I know.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.